And I'm Aisha Frazier. This just in, the European Union has approved retaliatory measures against the U.S. for tariffs on steel and aluminum. This is reporting coming in from the New York Times. We'll have more on tariffs later, but in more local news, the U.S. government has now terminated 6 Carolina students' visas, according to the university. The university did not release the names of those students, citing privacy reasons. This all follows similar announcements from NC State and Duke in the past week. The Trump administration's latest round of tariffs has fueled the largest decline in the U.S. stock market since the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 4,500 points in the last 5 days, translating to approximately 11% losses for the investors across the board. Coming up on Carolina Week after the break.
A fight, and we're being strategic as to how we're putting that fight up.
How immigrant communities will be targeted in a new Senate bill. This month, UNC's American Indian Center is opening their cultural garden. The garden aims to help conserve traditional Native American plants. It features plants like corn, beans, and squash. They are important because of their ability to grow with each other and the balanced diet they provide. The ribbon cutting on April 25th will feature free Greek food, and it'll be free to attend. Welcome back to Carolina Week, and now it's time for some good news. If you're driving around Raleigh, you might spot a miniature school bus with up to 20 dogs on board. Our reporter Sarah Jins is live with the Pup Park Shuttle. Sarah?
Good morning, Akshay. Like you said, I'm at that complex right off Greensboro Street, and I've seen people coming and going all morning. I went into the library, I got a library card, and I checked out a book, and it only took me roughly 10 minutes, and it was really simple, a very simple process. If you look over here, you can kind of see that they're still putting some of the finishing touches on the building. If you want to look at the complex itself, right, it was built with sustainability in mind. So if you look at the sidewalk over here, these irrigation systems are meant to help retain water and reduce flooding onto the floors. It also features a green roof, and it's a hub for all ages to gather. There are rooms that can use a resource that UNC students can take advantage of if Davis ever runs out of space. The building is named after, like you said, Robert Drakeford, Carborough's first Black mayor, including his contributions to the town's bus system and his advocacy for walker and cyclist safety. City officials say he was committed to public service, and he was a Tar Heel. His son told us he hopes that the library can be used to create space for different kinds of people. Leaders say they hope the public takes advantage of its many uses.
Of course, at its heart, there is a library, which this community has wanted so desperately for years. And it's also a cultural center, an education center. We have workforce development through Orange County.
Now, anyone living in the bordering counties or in Orange County itself can come to the Drakeford Library Complex and get a free library card. It's open during the weekdays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on the weekends from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm live in Carrboro. Aisha Frazier for Carolina Week.
Class is normal. There are students out here getting some work done in the weather. Something I have noticed, there are security cameras, mobile security cameras that have been put up in preparation for that rally that we're expected to see here today. It will include a coalition of organizations, including UNC's Students for Justice in Palestine and Transparency. They're expected to be here at 1 p.m. They are organizing to stand in solidarity with Mahmoud Khalil and others who they say were unlawfully detained by ICE for their public activism. Now, UNC Media Relations just responded to me via email. Let me walk you through some of what they said. They said they support the students' right to making their voices heard in a way that is respectful and in accordance with campus policies, which the Board of Governors recently voted to change last month. I'm live in Chapel Hill. Aisha Frazier for Carolina Week.
Local immigrant rights advocates are gearing up to lobby lawmakers at the North Carolina General Assembly this morning.
We're putting up a fight, and we're being strategic as to how we're putting that fight up.
El Pueblo, a local nonprofit, has been hosting Know Your Rights sessions at colleges across the state. This week, they held a lobby training day in preparation for their planned lobby day at the state capitol with North Carolina lawmakers.
But more than that, we want to make sure that students know that they have the power to do these kinds of things, to go to the legislature, to speak to legislators.
Their target, Senate Bill 153, known as the North Carolina Border Protection Act, introduced by Republican Senator Phil Berger. If made into law, it would require state law enforcement to cooperate with ICE officers. Both cities and counties could face legal action if they implement sanctuary policies, and it could directly impact students.
So, putting our students in danger if this bill were to pass. And again, we have not many undocumented students go to UNC institutions, but they still go, even though it may be more expensive, we still have students, documented students, undocumented students that may potentially be at risk.
Senator Berger saying in a press release announcing the bill, quote, "The legislator is stepping up to ensure our citizens and communities are safe. But unfortunately, Democrats are refusing to address the very real threat illegal immigration poses to our state. The bill bars UNC system schools from adopting policies that interfere with immigration enforcement. They would be obligated to cooperate with ICE. But El Pueblo leaders say they won't back down."
It's not like we can prevent these laws, right? But we can make noise and we can hold them accountable.
Reporting from Chapel Hill, Aisha Frazier for Carolina Week. Pueblo leaders say they have been planning the meetings with lawmakers for weeks. Now, a sense of confusion and anger for voters outside the courtroom.
And right now, we can't be silent. We've got to share what is going on in our nation.
Inside the court, oral arguments in a case challenging more than 60,000 election ballots from last year's election. Its most recent attempt by Judge Jefferson Griffin, a Republican, to contest the North Carolina Supreme Court race against Democratic incumbent Allison Riggs. Griffin argues the challenged ballots were improperly registered because they didn't include identification. The majority of the ballots target military personnel, early and overseas voters. According to the State Board of Elections, Griffin lost to Riggs by 734 votes. The result has been recounted multiple times, but the legal back and forth has delayed their confirmation. UNC law professor and legal expert Theodore Shaw believes Griffin's actions are a threat to democracy and people's right to vote.
We have to fight to protect that right to vote.
Riggs argues these issues are about constitutional rights.
No matter how long this takes, I am committed to upholding the rule of law, standing up for the voters who elected me to keep my seat.
Griffin told Carolina Week that he can't comment on pending litigation because it would violate the Judicial Code of Conduct. Many of the voters who cast the ballots in question ended up on Here, an online list known as the Griffin List. Amongst them is Marlo Donato Kalb, a UNC law student. She says this case has left her feeling devastated.
People in general shouldn't be on this list, and I don't really know what to do to fight back against it.
The lesson has to be to make sure that your vote, in fact, has been registered properly, cure any problems that might exist.
Reporting in Raleigh, Aisha Frazier for Carolina Week.